back to Fire Gaming Project. So in this short video, I'll just be doing my review of Kaveh. Obviously, it's the last day of the banner and the patch for 3.6. So I just want to get this out there. I haven't been doing much lives or any talking videos in a while. It's been busy, but yeah, I just want to make sure I get this out there beforehand, just for my own record purposes, or even just to get it out there in a reasonable fashion. So anyway, let's get to it. So I'll just show my Kaveh build, and yeah, so he's a 4-star character, and he's a great, good, or even a good, or good to great Dendro support damage dealer, specifically for Bloom. But you know, he is what it is. So realistically, I didn't fully build him as much as I should have, but regardless, most of the 4-stars are in my roster. I just leave them at the 5th ascension out of 6, and I leave them at 70 out of 80. In terms of the crit, of course, you can make his crit much higher, but I just used whatever artifacts I had, and don't mind the resistance here. It's just because of my team composition right now for the resonance. I gave him the Mailed Flower, and this is basically the free-to-play weapon that we got in 3.5 that many players should have. And although everyone said that he would be great with Elemental Mastery build, technically there's nothing in his actual kit that requires him to be really like building off of elemental mastery technically. Like there's I think there's one passive which we'll go over in the talent section, but otherwise his main kit, his skill, and his burst have nothing to do with elemental mastery technically. I mean, indirectly or directly, I guess it has to do with it in the terms of for the bloom and hyper bloom, etc. potentially. So yeah, I already went through all the weapon options that are good for him prior to his launch, so do check that video out separately. But yeah, like basically as a support, you can give him any of the support weapons with energy recharge or elemental mastery. If you want to build him like an actual DPS, then of course there are many DPS options as well. For artifacts, actually, while he would be fine with a 4-piece Deepwood set or even a 2-piece Deepwood set plus other things, I actually went full on with the Elemental Mastery build, even though I just said earlier just now that he actually doesn't really build off of Elemental Mastery. But regardless, I went that way because of the artifacts that I had that I could easily get to level 20, which is what I did. Like some of them were already at 20 and some of them were not being used, and so I just used whatever I had. I did give him a Dendro damage bonus goblet though. However, all the other things were elemental mastery. I could have given him the elemental mastery one here too, but I decided to go with the Dendro one. And this isn't even like the best one for him. Like honestly, they aren't even that great. But for 4-star characters, I don't really farm too much for them. I just go with what I have. And this isn't even that great. Like it has a lot of HP stats on it. Like this would be good even for like a Baiju, but I went with a full HP main stat for my Baiju build instead, for including the goblet. So check that video out if you're interested. I just posted it, but yeah, so that's why instead I gave Kaveh the Dendro piece there. We won't talk about the constellations first, but let's go to the talents. So I left him at 666. That's just what I do for 4-stars, especially 4-stars I don't plan to really use. Nothing against him, he's actually pretty decent, but I don't plan to use him. So after I get his friendship level to level 10, he'll be sitting on the sidelines like most of my other 4-stars. So his normal attack, I would not recommend leveling it past level 1 unless you plan to use him on field and use him for the attacks, but I always bring it up to 6 at the very least for most characters. For the skill, really, he just does a really, really quick like attack with it. It's like a really quick scan that basically erupts the dendro cores in the area if there are any in the area. So yeah, he's best to be paired with a Hydro character or specifically Nilu. So I will have her in this case. Yeah, see, it doesn't scale off of Elemental Mastery. And then this second, the burst also does not scale off of Elemental Mastery. And similarly, it just creates a very quick like flash, similar to Alhatham's, but very quick though, this one. Basically, and it creates, dendro damage, and it will cause all dendro cores in the area to erupt as well. So then this passive is just talking about when a dendro core erupts from these like Burgeon or Hyperbloom, etc., and if it hits him, then he will regain health, so he won't get damage from it, basically. And then this one is the only thing that has like a little bit of a scaling to Elemental Mastery. Like during his ult, basically, his elemental mastery will increase by 25. And yeah, that's basically it. It doesn't say anything about like scaling it to increase his damage or anything like that. It just increases that. And you know, as a Dendro vision or Dendro, you know, element, basically it's all about reactions, right? Like burgeon, hyper bloom, bloom, burning, etc. That's all that it is. So there are applications for elemental mastery, of course. So yeah, and then this passive is just, you know, for building components. All right, and refunds. And then for the constellation, so I have him in C0. I stopped right after I got one copy of him, and if you saw my polling video, it was pretty rough. It was my first time going to pretty much hard pity for my guaranteed Baiju, and then even after getting my Baiju, I still had to go a few more, I think, to get like my Kaveh. I didn't even get one copy of him, so it was a big deal actually, but it's okay because I have officially stopped spending any money in this game. I don't have the Welkin anymore. I stopped already. Basically, as of 3.6, the Welkin expired for me. I don't have the Battle Pass. I stopped the Battle Pass many like patches ago already. So this is, I'm not going to call myself a free-to-play, but at this point, like from 3.6 onward, my gameplay has been free-to-play, and I have not been playing too much, so I haven't purchased any more things to go for getting them to C6 or anything like that. Anyway, so let's just go to C1 here. Let's just go through it. So within 3 seconds after his skill, his Dendro resistance and incoming healing bonus will be increased. And then the second one, his normal attack speed increases. This is plus 3 levels for his burst. This one is when the Dendro core is created from his bloom react, it will deal more damage basically. This one is plus 3 levels for his skill, and then this one is for his burst. Yeah, basically he'll just have a little more AoE damage, basically. So they're not like must-have, but they're nice to have for sure. So yeah, let's just get to it then. Let's just quickly show what he can do. So I did pair him up with Lulu, like I said, and she's in here just strictly for generating this, and also to help me like break this shield if I can. If only I can right now. Let me just see if I can break it quick. Oh, and it's gone already. Her aura doesn't last that long, hey? Okay, so try a different way. Like, so basically, yeah, like she would need to apply like lots of water in order for it to work for his thing. So that's the only thing. That's one of the downfalls of this tester, is that he relies heavily on having water testers being available for him to do this. Basically. So unfortunately, his burst happened after the boss died at the end there. But regardless, you'll see that I'm not gonna go and try another thing, but basically you'll see that he is not that strong. Of course, you can make him stronger, but yeah, he's very reliant on the Nilu or any other water character to create the Dendro cores. Unfortunately, in this showcase, it wasn't the greatest example. I'm gonna try again quickly by going to the Jade Plume here, but I want to just say like he wasn't the greatest in the sense that like the timing wasn't perfect, and I'm not going to re-record this, of course. I'm just going to see what we can do here and make it work. Maybe one way to do it is I'm going to create oops, never mind. I was going to switch to bring like another water character to maybe have some more consistency with the Dendro core. Give me one sec here. I'm going to make the angle go off. I stood too close to him. I'm going to swap out that was my mistake for not planning it properly. I should have planned it better. So regardless, let's just quickly do this. We may not even be able to kill the boss off, but we'll at least show some of the damage, that's all. So then, so those cores erupted right below him, as you saw. And then, like, if I can pop it again. Yeah, so it's like okay damage, it's not like the best, right? And then, like, let me just see if I can generate some, like, particles or whatever. Oops, I shouldn't have did that, because that wasn't the goal. The goal is not to use them to, like, attack the thing. I don't think I'm gonna have enough energy, because his burst went off in the previous thing, and it's not gonna generate enough right now to get him back. But you never know. So yeah, like basically with an elemental mastery build, your focus should be on. Oh, there we go. Got it. I'm gonna throw this all out and create more views. Okay, so there you go. So that's the burst. I mean, like he can like look, his attacks are really weak. That's an elemental mastery build, right? And then your goal for elemental mastery, of course, is reactions. And realistically, you probably wouldn't even put him on the field that much. Now, I'm saying this, but it's not a negative review at all. Because he could be built as a DPS. Because he's not like heavily reliant on having elemental mastery. To be very honest with you, right? You don't have to do to build him specifically for bloom or any of those reactions for things, right? You can technically build him however you want, and technically he'll be fine either way. At least he's flexible enough. He's not like Nilu, where she has to be built for specifically like bloom and all that stuff, right? There's the difference. So I'm gonna keep doing this just because it was kind of fun. I actually like this character more than Baiju, to be very honest with you. I mean, his animations are interesting, like how like the case basically controls the blade for him, and his animations, and of course like he has an interesting storyline with Albezen, which is very interesting, to say the least. And you know, and he was very interesting in the Parade of Providence event. So I mean, they actually put a lot of thought into the character if you think about it. Like if you think about it, like they made his character, his storyline, somewhat more interesting than some of the 5 stars, to be very honest. Now, it's just me just saying that because, like, you know, they made him more like a main character in the Parade of Providence. Not to majorly spoil it or anything, but of course I already completed the event and the event's over too. But, you know, they actually made him like kind of like a main character of that story. You know, and then like there are 3 endings apparently that you can get at the end, and I only got like the second ending. I didn't get the one I didn't get the best ending. Basically, I realized that afterward. I didn't know. But anyway, just a long story short, I actually like this character. I like his characterization. I like the fact that they made him interesting and different, and that they put more storyline and thought into him. Unfortunately, of course, he's not like strong or anything as a 4-star character, but at least he is flexible. He's not like Nilu, where she's very specifically requires like another Hydro and another Dendro character on her team, for example. But Nilu is still very great too, and I did do a review of her way back, and I do like her as a character. But regardless of that, I also really like Kaveh. I actually prefer Kaveh because he seems more interesting than Baiju, because I just did my Baiju review, but I find that Baiju is very short range with his attacks, and he really can't do anything more than just be a healer, whereas at least, like I said, Kaveh is more flexible. Anyway, I'll leave it there, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.